Hello, and welcome to Phoenix Shogi. You've opened games. You've ended games. But where's the cream filling? Oh yes, it's time for that sweet, sweet mid-game. Arguably the most critical point of every game, the mid-game is after the battle formations are completed and the fighting has begun, where one player takes the lead and the other falls behind. You can memorize openings, and you can learn endgame techniques to win mating races, but mid-game prep is a very different beast. During the mid-game, you have three primary goals: gain material, give your pieces Sabaki, and make a dragon. The logic of the first goal should be obvious. More pieces means more power, more fuel for the fire, more bullets in your gun, more money in the bank. The second idea is a bit harder to explain. The term sabaki is the noun version of the word sabaku, which is used to describe handling, preparing, or processing something well. Subarashii houchou sabaki. 次々と仕事をさばいていく。こんなにたくさんのチキンカツをよくさばいたね。As you can see, English lacks a word that could fit all of these situations nicely, so translators left it alone. Sabaki was already on loan from Go, where it is often used to describe a tactical exchange or sacrifice, and the Shogi version is similar. Karo-sensei describes Sabaki as
Peace Heaven,
which is a nice way to remember it, because usually you're letting a piece do exactly what it wants to, typically by letting it die. Okay, so that's the long explanation. The short explanation is, here's some examples from Sabaki at a glance. If you'd like to try and solve this problem without any kind of spoilers, then now is your chance. For the rest of you, Sente has a clever tactic here, because Gote has not yet moved his king. Remember our proverb from the castling video? Igyoku wa sakeo. So in this position, Sente can push this pawn. Now, if Gote does nothing, the pawn will promote, and will have a very dangerous token in the enemy camp. And so Gote will probably take it. But now, we can achieve Sabaki by exchanging our bishops. At first, this looks to be an equal exchange, but oh no! A king-rook fork. The rook will be lost, and the game is more or less over before it's even begun. Here's another problem from a central rook game. If you'd like to solve it on your own, pause now. Like in the first position, we begin the attack with a pawn sacrifice. Remember, if Gote doesn't take it, we'll make a token, and that would be very scary for Gote. So they'll capture, but then we can give our knight Sabaki. From here, if the bishop moves this way, the rook can charge in, and soon we will be able to make a dragon. But if Gote runs the bishop here instead to protect the pawn, we have this drop. This attacks the rook and also cuts off its line to the silver, meaning we'll get either Gote's most powerful piece or a general on the next turn for free. Ouch. Finally, we have another problem from a central versus static rook game. If you'd like to solve it, pause now. This might feel a little bit unusual, but the correct move is actually swing the rook over here. For my one Furibisha fan in the audience, this is a very common tactic, so be sure to remember it. We're not making any progress on the center file, so instead we switch the rook over and attempt to push in an area where there are far few generals and the defense is a lot thinner. Later we can follow up with silver 6-8, creating a little bit more thickness on the center of our own. Even though Gote has created a horse, giving our rook Sabaki has given us a pretty good position. if you still don't really get Sabaki, I can't recommend this book enough. I'm personally not a fan of the partial diagrams at the start, but it does contain some invaluable mid-game techniques, and there's a reason I've spent 5 minutes talking about this. And finally, number 3. While not always necessary, giving your rook Sabaki by trading and dropping it in the enemy camp, or by breaking through, is more or less the starting gun for the mating race, and the first player to make a dragon will be getting a head start. You probably won't be setting up threat mates right away, but your mindset should definitely shift from how do I get a bigger advantage to how do I win? So that's the basics of the mid-game. You might be wondering why I spent so much time on that second part compared to the other two. Well, you might say that the most important part was in the middle. As usual, this is meant only to introduce the basic concepts and help you get started. There are a lot of other things you can do in mid-game that I didn't mention, such as improving king safety, poking holes in the opponent's defense, or looking for tesuji, techniques, and tactics. I might cover those in future videos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go have a oh wait, I did that gag already. Man, I had so many more ideas in the middle section. Peace.